springs, seeps, and live water. Let's check it out. 2025 has been a dry year up here in the Colorado Rockies. Fortunately, there's a natural sub-irrigation system that irrigates these pastures.
Not like this. I'm up in the high country today with my good friend Saya. We're checking our cattle. We sent yearling heifers up here first part of June. Absolutely beautiful up here. We're at about 10,000 feet, nice and cool. A good break from the heat of the plains. Saya, you want to run? Go ahead. Even in the dry, there's water up here. Sub-irrigation. On the plains, we've received quite a bit of moisture. Not up here. Fortunately, there's a lot of sub-irrigation, spring water in the mountains. This green is not from precipitation. It's from snowmelt from the mountains above. That's pretty cool. You can see the underground water pushing to the surface, pushing the sand up. Nature's own plumbing system. Water pressure from the mountains above, pushing up, creating springs, seeps, wetlands, and streams. Just above that nice spring, there's another wet spot. This is more of a seep. They're all connected, and they all water this wetlands.
That's where the groundwater comes from, up there on that mountain. You can see what's left of that snowdrift. Sometimes this time of year it's much larger. That's how dry it is up here. All the snow melt from wintertime melts, travels underground in the rocks and gravel. And it shows up here, creating a wetland. Skunk cabbage, willows, and lots of grass.
You can't beat nature's design. Water stored at elevation, piped downhill, gaining pressure, and delivered to houses and businesses. This is exactly how most town and city water systems work, except for the energy used to pump water uphill is sun and weather.
Here's a small drainage coming off the mountains. This one's dry right now. There's still some that have water. These yellow flowered bushes are zingifoil. There's also a lot of quakees or aspen, pine, and spruce. Let's go check out more of the natural water system up here in the Colorado Rockies. Small live water creek and lots of wetlands coming off of that peak.
Nature really is amazing. Water is easy up here. Down in the plains, we rely on deep wells, miles of pipeline, and stock tanks. Not quite the same.
More wet ground here, sub-irrigated. That's called skunk cabbage, zingifoil, and the quakees. Another intermittent creek here in the quakees, dried up now. This little creek flows for a while in early runoff. Just below me that way is what we call the long meadow. See how dry it is here, but down below, you get some of that good sub-irrigation. See our heifers down below there, enjoying some salt.
Now a quick drive through the Quakeys to one of my childhood memories.
Here's a beautiful pond fed by a creek. My grandpa dug this pond back in the 70s. Many a good time were enjoyed when I was a kid up here.
Beautiful, and so many memories. My grandpa and dad used to stock this with trout. I've also enjoyed this with my kids and my family. Here's the pond overflow. And here's the creek feeding the pond. There's just so much water up here in the mountains, even in a dry year.
Not too far up in the forest, there's head gates. That fish pond creek can be turned this way.
Here's a nice stand of wild roses.
All throughs and head gates. This pipe diverts the creek to the ox stalls and stage stop. Right now, it's going to the fish pond. That's what's left of an old stage stop up here. That was the ox stalls.
The natural flow of Halthusen Creek would have flowed by these ox stalls and stage stop. That's why it's here.
This thorny bush growing in the ox stalls is wild gooseberry. No berries yet. This is June. They usually come out in the fall. I don't know if they'll have berries because of the dry year. Here's something you won't see every day. An old feeder carved out of a log. The old timers made this. Goes back to the days of the stage stop. Two more springs up here to check out, just below the ox stalls. This is that Halthusen drainage below the head gates. Even though that creek's being diverted, the water bubbles up here in a spring. And here's the last spring we're going to check out today. My brother and a local guy fixed this up, developed it into a cattle watering station. They set this stock tank up with a nice barrier to keep cattle out of the tank. Here's the overflow. Water's being fed in an underground pipe from the spring, which is up by those panels. These panels and this wooden cover protect the actual spring. It's old. The old timers dug it out like a shallow well lined with rocks. Here's the clean out pipe in case it would get plugged up. Now let's go check out the overflow. I think this spring puts out about 5 gallons a minute. Look at that, a natural faucet, natural pipeline. Pretty cool. That's one muddy puppy.
And that's easy water. Springs, seeps, and live streams. A little different than we have it on the plains. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time at the Windmill Garden.